Today, we're teaching poodles how to fly. Hey, you psyched, Fifi? Alright, bonus points for anybody that knows what movie that line is from. Today, we're actually going to be changing an air filter on a 2006 Yamaha R6. 2007s are exactly the same. 2008s up to the present should be pretty much the same thing. A lot of stuff I'm finding on the internet describes and shows you how to remove the gas tank, and with the gas tank off, it's showing you how to get to the air filter. So the question is, do you need to remove the gas tank to get to the air filter underneath? No, you don't need to remove it, but you do need to move it out of the way. And we're going to show you how it's done, right? Okay. So the tools we're going to need today, pretty simple. Just a 5mm Allen wrench for the T-handles. A larger size Phillips head screwdriver. A little smaller regular screwdriver. And this is really handy, a stubby screwdriver. I have a ratcheting version. And it makes automotive work and motorcycle work really easy. Also going to need a little magnet thing. To prop the gas tank up, we're going to need a piece of wood. If you get one about 15 inches, will be about perfect. I've carved a little notch in mine. You'll see what that's for later. And I also got some zip ties, wire cutter, and pliers, and you'll see what that's for. What else? And you also need an assistant. You ready to help? Ready to go? Alright, let's go. Okay, step number one, we need to get the seat out of the way. So get your 5mm wrench. There's two bolts. You just kind of pull back the seat. There's a bolt there, just remove them, pop the seat off. Okay, once we get the seat off, just stuck it out of the way. I find the back of the seat is a very good place to put all the loose screws. Since we're going to be taking a bunch of screws and bolts off, I'll just keep them here. Alright, next step are these knee fairings. Now, R6 owners are very familiar with the problem, design flaw these have, is that there's supposed to be a little piece of plastic here, and you put in a regular screw, and it holds it in place, and it just kind of tucks in up here. Problem is, the more you ride it, these things break off pretty easy, and a lot of R6 owners will do various ways of zip tying it. I'll show you how I did it. This is where the wire cutters come in. I'm just going to cut this little zip tie right there. And what I did, it's hard to get this out of the way, but what I did is, using the screw hole, I just drilled, if you can see it there, a hole right there. See, this is the broken part where the tab used to be. Just drilled another little hole there, put a zip tie in there through the two screw holes, and that's how I do it. I've seen other people do it different ways, but that's how I do mine. So we need to take these off, and on to the next step. Yeah. Okay, so the next step, get your 5mm again. We have 3 bolts to remove. Got one here on the right side, one on the other side. This actually holds most of the weight of the tank. And then with this little plastic front tank cover piece, we also have another. Okay, so I got the 2 side bolts out. Now remember, the side ones will be the short ones. The one up front will be a little longer. You can see the sizes there. Now another thing to remember is that this little grommet piece, there's a rubber with a metal 2-piece metal washer in there. Since we're getting into the air filter, we're also going to be in the butterflies and the intakes for the cylinders. Last thing we want is something falling in there. So that washer's loose, make sure you take it away. Okay, so now that we have those 3 bolts out of the way, this is where we do not need to remove the gas tank, but we're just going to get it out of the way. And we do that. There's actually a pivot point here. Now there's another 5mm bolt sitting right there. You may have to loosen it to get it to move, but you don't need to remove it. And another recommendation is, this is a 4.5 gallon tank. It's best to do this when you have as little gas as possible. So as you see, it's just going to lift up out of the way. So the less gas you have in there, easier it is. Now the other piece, I got this piece of wood, notched in a little piece there, 15 inches. What we want to do, now you can't really see it, get that out of the way.
is there's a little, this is the tank. I don't know if you can see it, but there's a little metal piece right here. The rest of this is just the little plastic cover. We want the weight sitting there, and I use this notch in the wood to sit right here, right there. So now we can get to the air box. What do you think?
Okay, so now just got to remove this. We're going to have 2, 4, 6, 8 screws plus number 9 hidden way down there. The front 4 you can get with the screwdriver. These 2, it's a lot easier to use the ratchet, and use the ratchet with that little, what is it called? The magnet thingy. Magnet thingy.
Okay, so this is what I'm talking about, using your magnet thingy, because you don't want to drop this screw down in here. So I just kind of put the magnet right up next to the screw head. You will have this electrical line in the way. It's okay, you can push it out of the way. Just start unscrewing. And come on, there it goes. And the magnet brings it right out. Alright, so the next step, go ahead and use your smaller regular screwdriver. So we need to move this up out of the way, and just need to kind of find a point here. We're just going to use the screwdriver to help pry it. And there we go. Air filter, fuel injectors, and there's your butterfly valves for your cylinders. Now, last thing you want to do is drop something down in there, because if you get gunk in your cylinders, it'll make your bike constipated. So just go ahead, get a good shop rag, block it in there. Alright, now, we've got 5 more screws to get the air filter out. Now, you don't want to need to pull the screws out, because as you can see on this one, they have these little plastic tabs to hold the screws in. So as long as we get the screws loose, we will pull out the filter. Alright.
Okay, so now we have access to the air filter. Just the, let's see the other way. Just the 5 screws, 2 on each side, and 1 right down there in the middle. Once again, your stubby screwdriver comes in handy for this one. Okay, once we get those 5 screws loose, this just comes out pretty easy. And we can see in there, dark. Not too bad, pretty clean. I think this was an original. I'm the second owner, and well, that's not too bad for 15,000 miles. Alright, so we're ready to put the new one in, just pretty much reverse order. Okay, 2 more quick points I want to say. We've got the 9 screws to put the airbox cover on, and the 5 for the air filter. I don't think it's as important as like doing engine work, a valve cover, or cylinder head, but I usually like putting everything in a torque sequence. For those of you who don't know what that is, that just means don't start off on one end, tighten everything down, and go to the other end. You'll kind of warp it and get leaks. That's important on an engine, but I don't know if it's quite as important for this job, but you know, it's just something I'm used to doing, and so I always do it. And the second thing is, don't forget your debris catcher. Don't want that in there, right? Right, don't want that in there. Okay, so reinserting the knee fairing with the broken tab and using a zip tie, the technique I use is I will get the zip tie, smooth side toward the bike, so the tooth side is towards me, feed it through the screw hole, get it most of the way through. As I said, I just drilled this little hole right there, about the same size, so I can feed the zip tie right through. So pull that there. Go ahead and start that. Now we have these 2 little notches here and a notch there that grab there and there. So we want to Get those, feed those first, slide it back, make sure it caught. Get a pair of pliers or go ahead, zip this up tight. And then cut off the excess. And that's how I zip tie the broken side fairings. Okay, so there we are, all finished. Let's see how she sounds. Oh, is that scary? Okay, well, sorry kiddo. Now they got my new air filter in, I'm going for a ride. I'm gonna go put my gear on, see what the weather's like outside, and oh, rats, I forgot. Freaking snowstorm. Well, you wanna go outside and play in the snow? You wanna go play in the snow? Since I can't ride, you wanna go play in the snow? All right, let's go play in the snow, let's go play in the snow. At least somebody's having some fun in the snow. You having fun? Yeah. What a great day for a bike ride.